Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto Was the original vampire hybrid. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Died in Return as an agent of the Shinigami. Go ahead and check out that over Anime King, guys. Yes, I post a new episode over there. A new movie is coming over in Anime Print, so stay tuned for that. And also, guys, remember 4 channels, all links will be down in the description. And don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can talk back to you all. And welcome you guys. And also, turn on the bell notifications to see exactly when I post. So without further ado, wasting any more time with this, so we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now, guys. So the last time we left off, 2 women was speaking, their identities being hidden by darkness. However, they were speaking about the village and the Hokage. It seems like Tsunade is stumbling upon something that she should not remember. These 2 women were gonna make sure that she did not remember by any means necessary. As Tsunade was in some problems with her memory. She was having some problems there, but now it turns out that someone deliberately was messing with her mind to make sure that she didn't remember. However, she was starting to remember somehow. Or if she was not remembering all of it, she was remembering some. But these 2 people would ensure that she did not remember anything that happened that night, the night of the birth of Naruto and Mito. We then skip to the academy as the teams were placed. Sasuke was placed with Kiba and Sakura Haruno, as Sakura was known for her medical ninjutsu knowledge, as Kiba was a specialty in his clan techniques and fighting as well. And Sasuke was an all-around ninja, but most his specialty in close range fighting though. As Naruto was placed in a team with his little sister, and Ami as well. As Mito wanted to gather all of them that passed for a little celebration, however Naruto declined. However, Mito would not take any further answer from Ami, as she dragged her along. Well, that was before they got covered in smoke and pulled out of the room by their sensei, which was none other than Uncle Midarashi, as she basically kidnapped them to introduce herself. As Mito seemed to took a shine to Uncle rather quickly because their personality was a bit similar. Yes, the both of them were downright crazy, as Naruto found it rather amusing. Uncle was on the crazier side than Mito though, but Mito liked the woman a lot, so they seemed to be getting along a very lot. So with that out of the way, she told him to meet her at the Forest of Death, as that will be their first assignment. So with that, she went away. Mito dragged Ami along as Naruto made his way. Naruto met up with Mikoto as the both of them were at one of Naruto's favorite spots, as he was simply fishing. As she sat on the grass as they talked. They could talk like that for hours and not even notice the time was going away. She didn't know why she felt so comfortable around him talking to him, but it was just that way for a long time now. She asked him why did he always hold himself back. She knew, of course she did. Naruto was immensely strong, but yet he always seemed to hold himself back. That is when he told her. It was on the night when Mito was attacked by the villagers. When Naruto fought that night, he felt something, this compulsion to rip them apart. He felt this anger that he's never felt before, this desire to kill them all. She held on to him and told him that it was just his base instinct to protect his sister. He's not a monster, she held him. She didn't want to hear him say that again. He's no monster, he was a nice, kind young boy. As she held on to him for a while, Naruto thanked her for listening, as he's never really told anyone that before, not even the Hokage. So with that, the time was getting late as Naruto felt something strange. She decided to head home as Naruto thanked her for spending the day with him. She told him that it was her pleasure. As Naruto walked, he felt something off as he made his way. As Naruto proceeded to make his way to the forest. Since he was younger, animals always flocked to him. Sometimes he didn't know why, but it's like they could understand what he was saying. However, that was crazy, right? But still. The bear that Naruto met seemed to gesture for Naruto to follow, which he did. The scene that Naruto arrived to was Mito. As Mito had found Mizuki, trying to flee the village. He had told her to come along as he tricked her. She didn't know that he was fleeing the village. However, as she tried to stop him, Aruka arrived in the scene. He used Aruka's distraction to stab her, as she was wounded rather badly. He then proceeded to knock Aruka down. As Mito got to her feet to fight, but Naruto arrived and held her. He told her to rest, as he waited until she fell asleep in his arms. He then turned his sight upon Mizuki. The air around them started to twist. Mizuki, the once prideful shinobi, with rage in his eyes, started to tremble in absolute fear as Naruto turned into some kind of being of death and destruction. The place itself started to get affected. The weather started to change. The animals around started to watch. As the air itself started to be ripped open, as Naruto grabbed him by the throat and forced him to say what he wanted to do, as Mizuki had no other choice but to tell that he wanted to kill Mito. As at that point Naruto lost it. He raised his hand back, but he was stopped by the Anvus. As everything seemed to return back normal, as he made his way over to his sister. She was fine, but he just wanted to make sure. Once she was gone, Yuji arrived back in the scene. As her younger sister Ami showed that she was there as well. Ami had this flushed look on her face as she talked about Naruto's power and how powerful he was, and it got her all hot and bothered. As Yujiro told her to get a hand of herself. However, the both of them knew more than any other people know, and they knew that Naruto was, well, not normal per se, after all. Tsunade said it herself, Kushina only had one child. So that begs the question, where did Naruto come from? Some time passed as they gathered at the Forest of Death, as she sent them in there for 3 days. When they finally emerged, Mito was moaning about ramen as she wanted ramen. She hadn't had ramen for so long as Naruto took her to get some ramen, with Ami along as well. However, with that they were finally an official team. For the next week they spent training with each other, as their sensei helped them as well. Uncle was a good sensei, a bit on the crazy side, but a good sensei. With that said and done, Uncle brought them for their first real mission, as they made their way. As they were going to deliver an item towards the land of grass, Uncle warned them about vampires, as she gave them 2 stakes each. A stake to the heart to end vampires, as they should not underestimate them. Just because they did not possess chakra, they were still as dangerous as any of them. They were fast, and they were bloodthirsty. Mito was excited to hear that Uncle, her sensei, went up against vampires before. While that was going on, a woman was interrogating a man about the night of the incident at Konoha. The man was a merchant who came to Konoha on the night of the Kyuubi attack, and he saw something that he shouldn't have saw. The girl introduced herself as Catherine, as she simply grabbed him by the head. Before he started to scream, she seemed to be somehow probing his mind, as she would get the information that she wants in here. So yeah guys, basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode guys. Start now. Orochimaru! The voice of Danzo Orochimaru shouted in anger, as he slammed open the door with a rough force as he stepped into a room. Turning on his chair was none other than Orochimaru, as he looked towards Danzo Orochimaru with a smile on his face. "Ah, Danzo," he said. "Why so loud? 15 of my root agents were killed." "What the hell did I send my man into?" he said. "Ah, since when did you care about your mindless drones? My numbers is the only thing I have going for me right now. Sending them on missions that is getting them slaughtered is not good for me or anything I have planned for the future," said Danzo, rage in his eye, as he glanced toward the Sani that stood there. As Orochimaru simply chuckled, finding it rather amusing by His attitude, granted he was one that always said that emotions were not to be had in these kind of meetings. But he was angry. But it was justifiable though. 15 of his men killed for what? Danzo did not know. Orochimaru had simply, well, acquired his services. Although, Orochimaru was the one helping him to get back on his feet. Danzo had no choice but to flee from Konoha when Tsunade came for him. He had to fake his death. And that cost him the Kodamasu Kami, the greatest genjutsu to ever be in the entire world. Shisui's eye was used to bring him back to life. The bracer on his arm had a mechanical seal in it that prevented any of the other eyes to be used while sealed away. However, Shisui's eye was never sealed, so when his base was raided and he was killed by Tsunade Onvus, he used the eye he had to rewrite reality and brought him back from the dead. And now, the only thing he had left was his few remaining Onvus, loyal, completely, without hesitation. And if he lost all of them as well, it would be hard to find back new kids that he could take years to train. Danzo was not getting any younger, and he would be damned if he died before he get control over Konoha. That woman did not deserve the position that she was in. After all his years of serving that village, and yet he had to run away like a dog, going to someone that he didn't even like. Orochimaru watched as Danzo took a breath as he calmed himself. "Tell me, what did you send my man to do?" he said. "Information." "What sort of information?" "Oh, don't worry. The remainder of your boys that came back, they brought me what I need." "For what?" "Come on now, Danzo. You know how this works. I keep you safe and in the loop, but only for things that you need to know. I'm afraid that this is a personal matter." "Do you really expect me to hand over my root agents ever again for some of your personal matters which I don't even know what is for that is getting them killed?" "Oh, after this of the gathering, I don't think I'll need much of their help anymore, but it's still good to have them around after all. Their service is quite impeccable, and besides, it's not like I'm not sharing my research with you and all my gifts that I've acquired. So I suggest you stop being so harsh after all. Until we see it fit, we're partners. We both seek something. The removal of the heads of Konoha as they are right now. You want to rule and I want to make sure that I can rejoin my own home, but this time as one of its advisors, with all the possible security and also pieces that I can use in my developments," Orochimaru said. "I told you already, once we take back Konoha, I'll give you what you want. As long as you respect the deal," Danzo said. "And of course I've kept my part, but I'm the only one doing so far after all. You're sponging off of me," Orochimaru said. "Having nowhere else to run otherwise if you do, well, you won't have the resources necessary to take back the village that was taken away from you, that left you out like some dog in the rain." Danzo snarled at that, but he kept his situation under control. "Fine," he said. "Do as you please, but the next time, no, there won't be any next time where you send my root operatives in this amount of number and this come back," he said. "I need my root operatives for my future endeavors. Their deaths are more important than ever now." "Well then, we don't have anything to worry about. I'm busy right now." "We'll speak soon," Orochimaru said, dismissing Danzo. Danzo snarled as he left. Yes, quite impatient, isn't he? If he would just have some more patience, things would work out, Orochimaru thought. Konoha would not be standing for too long. However, Orochimaru also had a different means that he wished to achieve as well. This world is full of creatures that could help him achieve what he always wanted. However, they were secretive in the hiding. That's not to say that he hadn't got his hand on a few vampires, however. The problem was, to become a vampire, one had to die. Sure, Orochimaru could try to take over the body of one, however, the body is susceptible to many weaknesses that he did not like. For one, sunlight. Yes, most vampires have a little nifty ring that was created and given to them by a witch. However, sunlight was one of the big problems that most of these vampires fear. The natural rays of the sun seem to burn ever dark being on this world. And Orochimaru did not like that, not to mention, a stake to the heart, or the removal of one head could destroy the body, which would not be enticing for him. That is why he wished to create the ultimate body. And that is why he was gathering things. And Danzo root agents are proven to be very special in that endeavor. If only he could have his hands on the body of the one that reigned supreme, the one that commanded the dark forces with a raise of his hand, the one that was said to be just gone. No word, nothing at all. The one that was said to be unkillable and yet he is nowhere to be seen. Klaus. Only a few knew what he looked like. Orochimaru was not sure if the man was a myth that other vampires created for their race to seem more feared than it was. He was said to be unkillable, a force of nature. However, Orochimaru knew that he was a reality though. Yes, he knew. The man had left marks on this world. And at the moment, people are searching. Some do not believe that he was actually dead. It has been over 13 years since his disappearance. However, where could an unkillable vampire go? And if that is the case, why was he not revealing himself? What could stop someone of that caliber from not showing himself to the world? Meanwhile, Naruto was sitting on a branch as he glanced up to the heavens. It was currently nighttime as he was on the watch duty. His sensei and his team was asleep. They would get to the land of grass by tomorrow morning, as Naruto simply watched the heavens. It was a rather beautiful night. He was on the last shift. Morning would rise very soon, so he had nothing to worry about, as his sensei had told him more about vampires, but he already knew a lot. A friend of his, Itachi, that was his name, yes. That person used to be his friend. However, Naruto wasn't sure if that person was even alive anymore, because the one that slaughtered his family and his clan was not the same man that he knew. However, Itachi told him that vampires were scared of the sunlight. For some reason, the rays of the sun burned their bodies. However, a lot of them possess rings that nullify the effects of the sun. It must be something to do with a witch. That has to be it. As Naruto glanced at the heavens, he heard something snapping his head behind him as he turned to see that it was none other than Ami. "What are you doing?" he said. As she looked towards him with a smile, she hopped up into the tree and sat beside him. "Thought you might be lonely. You know you should be getting some rest." She waved him off. "Sensei took the first watch and then you are taking the final watch. Me and Mito have gotten enough sleep. Well, me to be exact. Mito is still fast asleep. I'm fully awake," she said, "so I figure you'd like the company," she said to him. "Yes, it would be very much appreciated," said Naruto. It was getting quite boring. "Well then," she said, as she glanced up. It's quite a beautiful night. Almost morning and yet we can still experience this view." "Yes, it's quite an attractive sight, isn't it?" said Naruto, as a smile was on his face. "You know, you're not like most kids. I've said this before, but I can't help but say it again. You don't enjoy things that other kids do in some silly ways. It's like you've been through life 1,000 times already. You enjoy the simple things that other kids would not pay any attention to, like the stars in the sky, the nature around you." "I've heard that on several occasions," said Naruto. "I guess I'm just different," he said. "Don't know why, but I like myself like this. Besides, I do enjoy the little things as well. Having Mito as a younger sister, well, you have to go through some crazy things." "I don't think she would enjoy you calling her your younger sister. That always seemed to piss her off." "Well, it's still a few seconds," said Naruto. "So I am the only one, it doesn't matter how she wanted to justify it." "I guess you're right," said Ami. While they were talking, "Boss, what are we gonna do?" The individual that was being talked to was a man with dark hair and red eyes that seemed to glisten in the darkness. "It's just a bunch of kids and their sensei. This should be pretty easy," the boss said. "Go, take the two on the tree. And you," he said, turning to another one, "take the two in the tent. You go with him as backup," he said to another one. He then glanced up in the tree to his left. And you stay on standby, in case. That sensei proved to be more than efficient. Do not fail me, he said. Now move. I'm hungry for a tasty snack, he said, his eyes glistening in the darkness. As he said that, the four of them seemed to speed off, as they were like blurs moving through the forest. Meanwhile, as Naruto closed his eyes, feeling a sensation, "What's wrong?" Ami said. Naruto grabbed her and jumped off the tree and landed. Ami looked towards him concerned. Someone's coming. He moved towards the tent. Uncle Sensei, he said, waking her up. We got a problem. As Uncle burst outside ready, as she slept in her combat gear. Wake up Mito now, said Naruto. As Ami moved towards Mito's tent. Mito, she said. Mito! What's going on, said Mito. We have trouble. What? As Mito started to sober up. Who is it, Uncle said, looking towards Naruto. I'm not sure, but it's more than one, said Naruto as he glanced around. As Uncle saw the flashes through the trees. Those movements. They're vampires, she said. Remember what I taught you all today. Prepare yourself, she said. Mito quickly reached for her stake as she grabbed it and held onto it. Gripping the hilt of the stake tight, Ami gripped hers as well. I know you're there, Uncle said. You might as well show yourself. Your hunt has been ruined. Your prey know that you're there. So come on, Predator. Reveal yourself, Uncle said. As one of them stepped out, licking his lips as he looked towards Uncle. You seem like a feisty one. The feisty one's blood always tastes the nicest. Oh, said Uncle. As she proceeded to use a kunai to cut her finger. Then why don't you come and taste it? As she flicked the blood towards him. This blood-crazy look came on his face. As Uncle burst off with blinding speed right towards him as the blood dropped. Uncle proceeded to drive the stake right towards his chest. However, he blurred out of the way. That is when she proceeded to launch the shuriken in her other hand that stuck right into his shoulder, throwing him back as it pinned him to a tree. Uncle did not hesitate as she stabbed right into his chest. He howled out in pain as his body started to become grey. That is when another one leaped from the tree, as he was about to grab Uncle until she lashed out her right hand as snakes wrapped around him and slammed him viciously into the ground. She then glanced over. She saw the other two were moving towards her Jennings, as the guy ripped the snakes off him as he launched himself towards Uncle. Meanwhile, well, a bunch of kids believe in that. Everything's gonna be okay. The man on the left spoke up. So you're a vampire, huh? Said Mito looking towards him. What? Never seen one before? The man asks. No, I haven't. But I do know that you're evil and here to drink our blood, right? Well, pretty much, he said. However, you're no match for us. Yeah, he's right. The one on the right spoke up. It's best if you just surrender now. And it won't be so bad. It will be quick, I promise. Like hell it would, Ami said, pulling off her sword off her back. One more step, and I'll cut you to pieces. The one on the left laughed. Quite feisty. You know, I hear the one with the feisty attitude. Their blood is always the sweetest. Why don't I have a taste? He launched himself towards Ami. However, she smirked and jumped out of the way. That is when Naruto raised his hand. The guy was zapped in the chest by a bolt of lightning that threw him back. He slammed into the tree. The other one launched himself towards Mito. But Mito already finished her hand signs as she proceeded to blow 5 wind balls out of her mouth that slammed right into him. Ami then leaped forward as she threw her blade. It stabbed into the guy that Naruto zapped as it pierced right through the tree, stucking him there. Ami then moved as she dragged the stake out and she went to impale him, but his left hand shot out. That is when Ami seemed to focus on his head. His hand quickly lashed out and grabbed his head as he screamed, giving Ami the opportunity to stab the stake right into his chest. The one that Mito blasts tried to get up until Naruto grabbed both of his hands. As Naruto was behind the tree holding him. Do it now, he yelled. Mito leaped forward and drive the stake into his chest. As his body went limp, as Naruto released him. I did it, said Mito. Are you guys okay, said Ami as she walked over. Yeah, we're fine, said Naruto as he looked towards her. What about you? He's down, she said. That is when something was thrown. Naruto moved forward and caught the person, seeing who it was. As Naruto set Anko right on her feet, the leader of the group started to chuckle. I must say, you guys do work fast. Although, those four, they were rookies. I recently turned them not too long ago, but you guys took them out pretty fast. I'm disappointed. I came for a feast and now I have to find some more subordinates. So you're the leader, huh? Uncle said. Explain why you're stronger than them. Well, I have been alive for some time now, he said. The older we are, the more strength we have. Humans like you should know that already, he said. You see my kind as abomination. However, we see you as food, he said, showing off his fangs. However, I'll give you all a proposition. How about you join me? Become my new group. It makes up perfectly, 4 of you for the 4 of them. And I won't rip your throats open. Take your offer and shove it up your ass, said Mito. We'll never join something like you. A rather bold girl, aren't you not? I think I'll turn you just for the sake of it. The rest can be food. I know. I'll have you feast on your own people. As Naruto stepped in front of Mito. What's this? Do you wish to die first, boy? Try to touch her, and I'll rip you apart, said Naruto. As the vampire laughed. What's this? You think of me like those weaklings you fought a moment ago, don't you? You should know this, I was merely passing through this side of the land. I would have been gone by morning, but, well, food was passing by, so I decided to wait it out. Waiting for the perfect moment because you know us vampires, we love to hunt, love to stalk and make our prey feel fear, he said. However, you should know, unlike those buffoons, he rushed towards Naruto but Anko jumped in the way. As Anko blocked his punch, she countered with several snakes from her sleeve. The guy jumped back. The moment his feet touched the ground, he blurred out of sight, taken to the trees and the darkness. Anko kept her eyes around as she looked around her. That is when the guy flashed behind Ami. He raised his hand and brought it down. However, Ami jumped away. Fast, he thought to himself as Ami was already blurring through Hansan mid-ear. She breathed a fireball out of her mouth as it scorched the ground. However, she missed. She looked around. Behind you, Mito, she yelled. As Mito turned, Mito quickly lashed out with the other snake in her hand, but he grabbed her wrist. Before he could though, his other hand was grabbed by snakes. They bit into him and yanked him as Mito was dropped to the ground. As he was being pulled towards Anko, that was until a foot slammed right into his face. The force was devastating as Anko's snakes forcefully released him. He was thrown back as he smashed right into a tree. Mito turned as she saw her big brother standing right in front of the vampire, who was embedded in a tree. He looked up as Naruto's feet slammed into his face. Not once, not twice, 3 times until his face was bleeding badly. However, it already started to heal. He lashed out and knocked Naruto away. As Anko arrived, a brutal kick to his face that snapped his head to the side. She then proceeded to stab right through his cheek, tearing through with her kunai. As blood was dripping down his face, she came up and backhanded him. He staggered back as Anko moved in and slammed right into his chest, cracking and destroying it with tremendous force. Her heel being powered by chakra. He spat out much blood before he retaliated. Not having the normal limitations that humans possess, he was able to go far beyond that and attack despite his numerous pain. As Anko grabbed his wrist though, his other hand slammed in her side, but Anko simply grinned. He was surprised as she was now holding him. Yeah, you're right, she said. You might be strong, but just like the others I fought, you are still no match for a ninja. And besides, he warned you, didn't he? as the vampire was confused by that until ninja wire wrapped around his throat, pinning him to the tree. He started to carve at his throat, trying to get the wire out, but Ami moved in as Naruto gripped the wire tightly. Ami then proceeded to drive her blade right through his stomach, pinning him there. As Naruto tied the wire tightly around his throat, before he walked around the front. I warned you, didn't I? Before he could say anything, Naruto reached his hand out and threw it right in the guy's chest. Uncle was surprised as Naruto tore his heart out. The guy died instantly. Naruto looked towards the heart in his hand before he dropped it. He then turned as he rushed over towards his sister. Are you okay? He said, checking over her. Yeah, I'm fine, she said. I'm sorry, she said to him. What are you sorry about? I almost got caught. I nearly put the team in danger. If Sensei hadn't done something. As Naruto wiped the hair away from her face. This is our first time seeing one of those things, said Naruto. I am not surprised that you were a bit overwhelmed. He was much faster than we thought, however. Next time you just have to be fully prepared to fight one of those monsters, and beside, you did end one of them earlier, said Naruto. That combination with your wind style and your quick thinking. Well, you're pretty awesome, Naruto said. I was? Yeah. And that's first on your list, the first vampire you ever killed. Remember, these things are not humans, they're monsters. They deserve this. You heard what you wanted to do. Yeah, you're right, she said. But you, what you did, that was so awesome, said Mito. As Naruto simply chuckled. I figured that you would say something like that. How did you know that removing their hearts would kill them? Uncle said, looking towards Naruto. I never told you that. I don't know, said Naruto. Wait, so why didn't you tell us that, Sensei? Mito asked. Well, you three are new to this. I never thought that there would come an opportunity where you get to do something like that, but still. I'm surprised that you did that, she said, looking towards Naruto. I don't really know why I did it, but I guess in the moment I wasn't thinking straight. She looked towards Naruto's hand. What's wrong, said Naruto. The amount of force that it takes to push your hand through his chest is nothing normal. You're one tough kid, she said. I'm assuming that you were using chakra in your hand. Well, not really, said Naruto. Wait, you weren't? My brother has always been pretty awesome, said Mito. It's no wonder he can do something like that. As Ami glanced towards Naruto as Mito was talking him up, a smile came on her face. Time skip. Delivering the goods was pretty easy. Uncle was not expecting them to have a first encounter that night. It seems like their group was a bit cursed, however. Well, it did give them the experience that they desperately needed. With that experience, they would go on to do many more great things. Time skip. In an underground location, it was well decorated and it had a feeling of luxury. A table. Several people stood around the table until the door opened up. Ah, welcome. It was none other than Marcel. The witch had warned him that he was not strong enough to keep everything under his control, that he would lose, that he was not the main deal. However, he decided that he was going to prove her wrong. He was going to prove them all wrong. Sitting at the table was several people, as Marcel turned to each and every one of them. The one on the left, as Marcel faced him first, dark hair and dark eyes. He was dressed in simple clothing. They looked simple, but the fabric was quite expensive. These people seemed to have some wonderful tastes. His name was Lucian, and just like Marcel had a whole fleet of vampire under his control, Lucian had a whole fleet as well. These men here were leaders of their own little flocks. Well, not men only. There was also the female specimen there as well, the queens of their empire. Next to Lucian was another man, blue eyes, dark hair. His name was Tristan, in charge of a group that he called the Strix. Vampires that are in different social life that control things that was behind the scenes. The world was a big place. And then there was a dark-skinned woman over to the side, short black hair. Her name was Aya, as she was a queen of her own domain, controlling a population of only female vampires. They were ruthless, violent, and dangerous. Some of the most feared vampires because, well, they were ladies. A lot of guys would give up anything to be with one of them, unaware that he was leading himself into his own death. Yes, she was in charge of a very powerful operation of vampires, all four of them being leaders of their different little groups. Well, not little per se. However, there was other leaders out there, but they were scamble and not professional. Marcel wanted nothing to do with them. I'm glad you're all here, he said. Marcel, I said to him, we're not precisely friends. I wouldn't take this as a occurrence for you to call us every time you wish to speak, not to mention summoning all of us. We have other things to do, she said. Of course I know that, he said. However, I believe that it's time for the four of us to make our move. Our move, Tristan said. And what will that be? Oh, I know, Lucian said. Let me guess, you want us to join forces finally. After all we are right now is just acquaintances that share the world. It has been years now, and our influence have grown since the death of our original creator. You truly believe that he is dead, Aya said, glancing towards Lucian. Well, it's been over 13 years. Where would he have gone? I mean, could he have just fallen off the map like that? The world is a big place, but not that big. Or perhaps it is. I'm not sure, Lucian said. You never are sure about anything, said Tristan. And what's that supposed to mean, said Lucian. As Tristan shook his head, would you go on, Marcel? What exactly have you called us all here for? Is it what Lucian said? Well, that and many others, said Marcel. Look, he's right. Klaus, he's dead. There is no possible way that you've been hiding for this long. One of the most feared men, one of the most powerful men I ever got to know. And yet, nothing from him for years now. Through the years we've been able to build our empire separate. And we've all kept to the same principle. To not interfere with other businesses that do not bother us. And throughout that time we have kept the peace amongst one another. And I believe that should we join forces together, our little group will be beyond unstoppable. The world is mostly populated shinobi right now at the moment. However, we all have members spread out across the world. I believe that we can use this as our opportunity to take over everything. Shinobis are powerful, but with all of us working together, they wouldn't stand a chance. I laugh. Let me get this straight. You call us here to try and take over the world. She got up out of her chair. Just hold on, Marcel said. Just give me a few minutes to explain. The last time we tried to war with Shinobis, they lost a lot of members, but we lost the most. Countless of our minions were slaughtered, and we were forced to go in hiding. And you want us to join that up again, to fight with Shinobis. I'm afraid I'm not here to hear this nonsense, she said. However, said Marcel, it is not nonsense. You see, I've had my boys gather a lot of power over the years. Not vampire power, but witch's power. As all of them narrow their gaze at that. Yes, I currently have several witches under my control. And you see, I need your help to gather another one. You need all four help to gather a single witch. I'm sure that I'm not the only one, said Marcel. I'm sure that you've all seen it. Some of your members, some of your females coming up dead, with strange marks on their forehead. How do you know about that, Aya said. Because it's been happening to me as well, said Marcel. There's a witch out there gathering power. We all know what a witch is capable of with enough power. How dangerous they are. This witch, I'm not sure what they're after, but I'm sure that it's nothing good for all of us. Your members have been taken, am I wrong? Who is the witch, Tristan said. I'm afraid I don't know. So how do you intend to find her, said Lucien. Well, with your help and your resources, of course. Say we do find this witch and end her. What about the first creations? Yes, she's right, said Tristan. What about the first ones that he created? What are they saying on this matter? You as we all knew that he never wanted us to go after humanity. For some reason he wanted us to coexist with them. Despite all the things that he has done, he never actively seek to completely enslave humanity, despite him possessing the power to do so. Yes, that's right. But as you can see, Klaus is dead now, said Marcel. And this is a perfect opportunity for us to make our move. You still haven't answered the question, said Lucien. What about the firstborns? I have it on good authority that they don't care what we do. Wherever they are, they're not involved in our little takeover. So you're saying that they're not gonna get involved? I asked. As Marcel shook his head. Alright then, we still have a problem. Katerina. What about her, said Lucien. She was one of his most loyal. Do you really think that she will sit back and allow this to happen? Despite if he is dead, she will not allow us to break any of his rules. And that include taking over humanity. That is why we're gonna kill her. They looked towards him like he was crazy. Yes, I know she's very strong, but with our numbers, she wouldn't stand a chance. Tell me, are you going to spend the rest of eternity living beneath humans that should be working for us? Are you going to spend the rest of eternity skirmishing, hiding like cowards when we're the top of the food chain? He said, looking towards all of them, this is our chance. Years have passed and shown us that he's gone. So it's time for us to make our move. So are you with me or are you against me? He said. They all looked at each other as Marcel looked towards them, waiting for their answer. Meanwhile, sitting on her throne, Katerina. As someone came in the room and bowed his head, all of the remaining caravan's members who were visiting or trying to leave at that moment has been dead for the past 13 years now. The man said to her. A frown came on her face. I'm afraid there is no one else to gather information from. As he looked up towards her, she wasn't pleased in the slightest. Her eyes glowed red. Leave, she said. He quickly left the room as fast as possible. Damn it, she cursed under her breath. She got up as she walked towards the room over to the side. As there was a photo on the wall, a portrait. It looked like it was hand-painted. However, the person that painted was a master painter. It was exquisite. There was a man in a dark suit, wearing a top hat. He looked like Naruto, but older. And beside him there was a young girl, as she was dressed in black as well, with a hat on her head. As Katerina glanced into the mirror beside it, her face resembled the young girl. As she looked up at it with a frown on her face, it's not possible. You can't just be dead, she said. Nothing could kill you. Where did you go? What happened to you, she said. As she was very unpleased, as her eyes were glowing ominously. The mirror shattered. Unlike those lesser vampires, Catherine seemed to possess powers. As she looked down towards the broken mirror, slowly but surely the pieces seemed to return back to their state. And the mirror was fixed like it was never broken. Before she walked out of the room, I'll find you, she said, as she walked away. Meanwhile, at a different location, a wide open wooden area, there was a house situated on the far east. Inside, a man sat at a table. Two persons walked in as they placed down several things in front of him. The vampires, they're making their move. They're controlling and taking over territory. What do we do? The man frowned as he seemed to grip the table hard. It seems like this day has finally come, he said. Once again, we have to fight. We will not allow them to do as they please like in the past. We'll stop them, he said. As he looked up, his eyes were glowing golden. Yes, gold. Meanwhile, as Naruto, Anko, and Ami, and Mito were hopping from tree branch, As they were making their way towards Land of Wave, they were going there as backup. Kakashi and his team ran into a bit of trouble, and they called for help, so they were going there to lend a supporting hand. As Team Anko had been on several successful sea ranks so far, since their mission with their first attack from the vampires, they have only grown in strength. Since then, they only had one other incident with a vampire. Only one. This one was just a bloodthirsty maniac, as Mito was the one that actually killed him. A stake to the heart, ending his life. He tried to hurt a little girl, as Mito wouldn't allow that. At the moment though, they were moving from tree branch to tree branch, trying to get to Land of Wave to save Kakashi and his team. They ran into a bit of trouble there. They arrived towards a port. As they took a boat, they then got back on the mainland. Arriving there, it seems that there was a bit of a scuffle here, said Anko as she checked out the area. She could see the markings and the burn marks on the ground. She glanced over towards where the pond was, as she saw the footsteps leading over to there. Let's go, she said. With that, their team moved out. They arrived towards the village. Whoa, what happened here, said Mito, as she didn't see a soul around. There was no one here. As Ami glanced around, do you think they're all... She did not finish the last sentence. As Naruto looked around, glancing over to the side, Naruto saw a deer trekking out of the forest. It glanced towards him and glanced upward towards a hill. Over there, said Naruto. Let's go check it out, said Uncle, as they made their way. It didn't take them too long as they arrived towards a settlement. However, as they got close, they saw someone rushing back. Wait, we're not here to harm you. However, the guy did not listen. They followed after him as they arrived. Stay where you are. Glancing up, they saw several people on the slope looking down towards them. It was a small slope hill. As they were holding on to various weapons, there was a boy holding on to a bow and arrow. Wait, are you the villagers of Land of Wave? Who wants to know? Who are you? We were sent by Konoha to give Team 7 backup. Where are they? Wait, look, they're wearing headbands. The boy that was speaking was a very small boy, a child. The woman that was beside him looked down as she looked towards her headbands. She then walked back. What's your name? She said. My name is Uncle Midarashi. They're friends. Let them through, she said. They were able to pass through, and they were led underground. Deep, deep underground. However, this was not a normal place. Once they got underground, they went on a small boat. Where are we? Said Ami. I'm afraid I can't tell you that just yet, the woman said. As she had dark hair and dark eyes, she reminded Naruto of Mikoto. Would you at least tell us what is going on? Well, this nation has been in a crisis for the longest time now, the woman said. I'm Tsunami, by the way. Tsunami, nice to meet you. I'm the team leader here, Uncle Midarashi. Where are you taking us? To a private island where we can talk. Why is the village so deserted? We were forced to leave. Otherwise, we would have all been killed. The message that the other sensei sent with the dog. It finally got to you, I see. You mean Kakashi? What happened to him? I'm afraid he was gravely injured. The time needed for him to rest is not enough. Not enough? To stop the monsters that are plaguing this land. Wait, do you mean vampires? The small child said. Wait, you fought vampires? Mito said, looking at him. He swallowed thickly. No, he said. We had to run. What the hell is going on? Uncle said. We're here. As they arrived to the small island, it took them a few minutes as they were led through a strange distance. Hey, that symbol, said Mito. Isn't that what is on the back of the Jonin jacket? Granted, Uncle did not wear her jacket, but still. Yeah, said Naruto. as they narrowed their gaze towards it. This island used to home various peoples, but they got killed some time ago. It's now empty, and now a safe haven for us. As they were led, Naruto saw various people all over, finally arriving towards the broken down homes. They were led inside of a room. Kakashi, Uncle said. As Kakashi glanced up, Uncle, what are you doing here? He said, confused. What do you mean what I'm doing here? Our team is here to assist you. What the hell is going on? As Kakashi pulled himself up, his shirt was torn really badly. There was a bandage on his shoulder, around his arm as well, and one around his stomach. But why would Hokage send you? I told her that it was dire situations. Dire situations? What's going on, Uncle said. Where's Sasuke, said Naruto. Where's the rest of your team? They're around here somewhere. Mito and Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. They thought that something happened to Sasuke. Wait. You told the Hokage this was a dire situation. Are you sure? In the letter she told us that you were attacked by the Demon Brothers and Mamakai Zabuza. And with the time that it took us to get here, this shouldn't have been so bad. What is going on? Kakashi looked towards her concern. That's not what I wrote. Look, let me start over, he said. When we first got here, we ran into the Demon Brothers, but that was no issue for me and my team to handle. We should have gone back when we knew that the mission was a lie. It was, said Mito. The client had lied about the mission, but it was because of the state that his country was in. So we decided to go ahead. I believe that my team could handle it. We then ran into Zabuza, and we fought. However, he was able to get away. I was exhausted from chakra exhaustion after overusing my Sharingan. Arriving back at Land of Wave, a few days passed. I believe that the next time I fought Zabuza, I should be able to handle him, and my team would have handled his apprentice that saved his life. Things were going well until Zabuza was betrayed by Gato. Turns out that Gato had himself turned into a vampire. And also, the rest of his thugs that he had with him. There was so much of them. And just the four of us, we were overrun. Zabuza and his apprentice helped us. We fought. Me and Zabuza were able to hold them back until the others were able to get to a safe place. This location, Tsunami cut in. It has been here for a very long time. It was a passageway to this island, Uzu. Uzu? What's that? The former home of the Uzumakis. Wait, what? Said Mito. That's my last name. Ours. You're Uzumaki? As she looked her over. Now that I think about it, the Uzumakis were known for their red hair. But you, she said, looking towards Naruto. You don't look like one. So, we used to have a family? Said Mito as she looked towards Naruto. As Naruto's face was focused on a woman. This passageway was a way of getting off the island of Uzu. This is not the main island. Uzu has multiple islands, surrounded by a cluster of whirlpools. However, this was a docking island that allowed them to move from their main island. This underground passage was here for a long time. However, we never had the need to use it until the village was overrun. Naruto? Mito? They turned as they saw Sasuke come out of the house, followed by the pink-haired girl. Sasuke! Mito rushed forward and hugged him. When I heard, I thought, I'm alright, Sasuke said, looking at her. As Naruto gave him a smile. I'm glad to hear that, he said. You know, I'm here too, Sakura said. Oh, of course, said Mito. We're glad that you're okay as well. Where's Kiba? He's sleeping, but he's fine as well. That is when another girl came out, with dark hair. Oh yeah, this is Haku. It's a pleasure to meet you, she said, giving them a smile. Nice to meet you, they said to her. What's all the commotion? Uncle quickly reached for a kunai, but easy, Uncle, said Kakashi. He is with us now. As Zabuza stood there, yeah, easy. I'm with you guys now, he said, giving them a smirk. Uncle turned her gaze back to Kakashi. What happened after that? We were able to get away, but the village was overrun. That was until Tsunami remembered us about the hidden tunnel down here. I was able to use enough explosive to draw their attention and get away down here. What about the bridge builder? A sad look came on Inari's and Tsunami's face. Oh, he didn't make it, said Kakashi. So why are you in this condition, she said, looking down towards him. I decided to stay back and draw their fire. I didn't make it out in one piece, he said. But I'll be fine, he said to her. But I don't understand. Why was my message not properly delivered to the Hokage? I told her that this was an urgent threat. Gato hired a new employee. And he brought some of his men, however. They're all vampires. They must have turned the others while they were there. And turned Gato as well. Yeah, he's right, said Zabuza. Last time I spoke to that midget, he was human. But with all those men under his control and all of them vampires, shrugging off hits that would have normally put down any other man, we couldn't keep up, so we had to flee. It was just too much of them. And we didn't have the manpower to fight them back. A lot of people died, said Tsunami. But the rest of us were able to make it here. Wait, said Mito. What if they followed us? I don't think that any of them can walk in the sun, so I think you should be fine. However, said Kakashi, the guy that Gato hired, there was something about him. Something old. I don't think he's a normal newborn like the others. So we have a big problem, but what I don't understand is why. Didn't the Hokage get the proper letter from your summon? Wait, you said that vampires can compel. Can they compel animals as well? Well, I would believe so. What if they stop and capture the dog? And wrote a letter for themselves? But why would they do that? Said Inari confused. To get more food? Said Ami, as they all looked towards her. Look. If they found a dog going towards the village knowing that backup would come, they would try their best to stop it, right? Ah, I see, said Naruto. They all looked towards him. Think about it. If Konoha did not receive word from Kakashi, they will send a team here to investigate, and if that team did not report back in, well, Konoha would retaliate for their missing Jonin and their Genins. But if Konoha was given a letter to send a small reinforcement team, it would buy Gato and his goons enough time to kill us all and the new arrival, and leave this place without a trace. Because it doesn't matter how much of them there are, I doubt they want to go up against the Leaf Village, because they know they will all be slaughtered. Kakashi looked towards Naruto. That makes perfect sense. He went through hand sign, bringing his hand down, summoning jutsu. Poof! Pac-on arrived. Pac-on. Kakashi, has the team arrived yet? I did what you asked me. Pac-on, listen to me. How did you leave the Land of Wave? What do you mean, how did I leave the Land of Wave? I ran to Konoha. It took me a while, I told you that. But Pac-on, the Hokage sent this team here. What? I don't understand. But the letter. Pac-on, do you remember running the entire way? Kakashi asks. There's some gaps. He was compelled, said Uncle. Damn it, said Zabuza. So I guess we're screwed. There's no doubt that they're gonna try and wipe us all out. What? Inir said. Yeah, that will be their best course of action to make sure that Konoha don't come searching for their ninjas. I believe tonight they will come and try to wipe us all out. So why don't we try and leave, Ami said. Did you notice a large dark forest when you were coming here, said Zabuza. I'm sure that they noticed you coming here. However, they decided to let you pass through the forest without any problems because they know they will get you once you're in. The moment we step outside, we have to go through the forest to make it back to the mainland. And that is where we'll be ambushed. The sun is not showing anywhere there. He's right. The space is large and wide and dark. They would use that opportunity to attack us, Haku said. So what, we're stuck? Waiting for death? Ami said. As Naruto held onto Mito's shoulder. Stay close to me, he said. This is bad, isn't it? She said. I mean, we're stuck here. And there's so much of them out there. Everything's gonna be alright. How can you say that? Because I'm gonna make sure that everything's gonna be alright. None of them are gonna touch you, said Naruto. Look, I know you're strong, but this is just... Kakashi, how are you feeling? Naruto asks. Well, I'm a bit sore, but I can still fight, he said. And Zabuza? Zabuza pulled his blade. I will go down swinging, he said. What about you? Said Naruto. Ohaku there is quite special. Possessing a rare ice blood cake Genkai. Good, said Naruto. Uncle Sensei, said Naruto, turning towards her. What do you think our chances are? Very slim, Uncle said. But it's not zero, is it? Said Naruto. Well, not really. But we'll have to be crazy to think that we can fight them all off. Well, you're known to be crazy, said Naruto. Do you think we have a chance? A grin came on Uncle's face. Most definitely, she said. Well then, Kakashi. I guess we're gonna fight our way out of here. You civilian will just have to stay back. We're the last line of defense for this place. They'll kill you all, said Iniri. As Mito turned towards him. Don't worry, kid, she said. We'll fight with everything we got, and we won't give up. Sasuke stepped beside her. As Sasuke's eyes were showing the Sharingan. I'm with you, he said. That brought a smile to her face. Ami glanced towards Naruto. Well, the situation was incredibly bad, however. This might be a chance for her to see him release that power inside of him. She would also have to use some of her real power. After all, this was very bad. Alright, Uncle said. The numbers are against us, but it doesn't matter. We'll fight. And kill every single one of them, she said, with a grin. Now who's with me? As she turned towards all of them. Seeing looks on their face, Uncle got a sadistic grin. She knew that this was dangerous as hell, and that she might die, however. She's come to love her team over the short time that she's been with them. And if they had to die, they would fight to the end. Meanwhile that was going on. Dahlia! A scream could be heard, as a woman known as Dahlia collapsed down to the ground. Around her was 10 bodies of vampires, with the marks in their forehead. I'm fine, she said, as she just sucked out their immortality into power. She got to her feet. It's time. She glanced toward the wall. On the wall was the older version of Naruto. It's time I find you, she said. But guys, leave me and subscribe right here. For next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification say posted. Remember, share to all of your friends, your social media platform. But I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace.